Senator Siewert.
Thank you, Mr President. Mr President, my question is to the Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Cormann. I refer to the exemption from granted by the Minister for the Environment of the WA Government's shark kill and capture policy from the Environmental Protection Biodiversity Conservation Act. This exemption applies a number of conditions to the implementation of that policy. There have been almost daily reports of potential breaches of this exemption and its conditions. How is the federal government monitoring the implementation of the drumline policy? Is the government aware of the large number of small-sized sharks that are being caught and that are being captured under this program? And does the capture and release of these sharks, who subsequently die as a result of the injuries from the drumlines, breach the conditions applied?
The Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr President, and I thank Senator Siewert for that question. And in fact, I had been wondering how long it would take before the Greens would ask me a question about this particular issue. Let me just say at the outset, we support the efforts of the WA State Government to protect human life and to improve public safety on Western Australian shores. That is why Minister Hunt has provided a limited and temporary exemption from the application of the EPBC Act to the WA Government. There is no doubt that the increased risk of shark strikes in Western Australia is a public safety matter of national significance. There have been 7 tragic deaths in just 3 years.
Order, Senator Cormann. Just resume your seat. When there's silence on my left, we will proceed. Order. Senator Cormann, continue.
Thank you, Mr President. Australia has a strong beach culture, and the federal government agrees with the West Australian government that public safety and the protection of human life are paramount, particularly during the height of summer. That is why the government has decided that it is in the national interest to provide that temporary exemption for the WA government from the relevant provisions.
Order, Senator Siewert. It's not on my left. Senator Siewert is on her feet, is entitled to be heard in silence. Senator Siewert.
I didn't ask for this information. I asked a specific question. Is this government monitoring the implementation of this program? Could the minister please, through you, Mr President, answer that question?
I do draw the minister's attention to the question. The minister has 46 seconds remaining. The minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. That's why the government has decided that it is in the national interest to provide that temporary exemption for the WA government from the relevant provisions of the EPBC Act at this stage until 30 April 2014. Incidentally, that exemption is quite limited compared with the very long-standing practice in Senator Rhiannon's home state of New South Wales, where for the past 75 years, and in Senator Waters' home state of Queensland for the past 50 years. To protect human life, each and every year New South Wales places nets at 51 beaches between Wollongong and Newcastle. To protect human life, each and every year Queensland's shark control program covers 84 beaches and uses a combination of mesh nets
just resume your seat. I remind senators on my left, interjections are disorderly. Constant interjections, totally disorderly. Order. Senator Cormann, continue.
Thank you very much, Mr President. For all the years that Senator Lyons has lived in New South Wales, the Labor government in New South Wales
has expired. Time has no, Senator Siewert. You are entitled to be heard in silence. Senator Siewert.
I'll take that as a no. Is the WA government reporting to your department on the implementation of the catch and kill policy? If so, how many animals have been caught, destroyed, died or released? If not, why is this data not being collected? And why didn't the government require independent observers on the boats that are applying this policy?
Order. On both sides. Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I understand that Senator Siewert doesn't agree with the policy adopted by the WA state government. This government does agree, and we've decided to provide an exemption which goes until 30 April 2014. And as the Minister has already said, after that time, the experiences over this summer will be properly reviewed, and of course appropriate judgments can be made at that time. But I just remind the Chamber again, over the last 75 years, New South Wales has placed nets at 51 beaches between Wollongong and Newcastle every single year over the last 50 years.
Order, Senator Cormann, resume your seat. Order. If you wish to debate the issue on both sides, the time to debate it is after question time finishes, which this afternoon will be sometime just after 3:05. The Minister is entitled to be heard in silence. The Minister to continue. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The federal government makes no apology to support efforts by the state government in Western Australia to protect human life, to protect public safety, something that the states of New South Wales and Queensland have been doing for a very long time. Now, Senator Siewert asked me about reports of undersized tiger sharks.
Order. Time has expired. Senator Siewert.
Finally, the Minister got round to starting to answer my question, so I will ask it again. Is the government reporting, the West Australian government reporting? If so, how many animals have been captured and killed? And will the government take note of the Senate's resolution yesterday and revoke this policy?
The Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Senator Siewert and the government just will have to agree to disagree on this. The short answer to her final question is no, we will not be revisiting the very limited and temporary exemption that Minister Hunt has granted with effect to 30 April 2014. And I just go back to the issue of reports of undersized sharks being caught up in this. Sharks caught that are less than 3 metres long will be released alive if possible. If they're not in a condition to survive, they are to be humanely destroyed. And again, to summarise, I think that no amount of exchanges, Senator Siewert, between you and myself—
Just wait a minute, Senator Cormann, resume your seat. Senator Siewert is endeavouring to listen to the answer, and the interjections do not help her in listening to the answer. Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. In short, the government takes responsibility for the decision that we've made. We made a conscious decision. It is an appropriate decision. It is a decision to protect human life and public safety, and we stand by it.